Hey guys, Anthony here. I have MS and I'm moving forward. In 24 hours I get my first half dose of the new medication Ocrevus for me. I know it's not brand new, but it's a brand new to me drug. It's a chemo style drug. Don't know how it's going to affect me yet. If it's going to have positive or negative reactions for me. We are hoping for the best. My wife is going to be driving me down there and staying with me. You have to wait 4 hours after the medication gets in you to see if you have any reactions or issues that medically have to be taken care of. I know with the Tysabri, when I first started it, you had to wait an hour, and they kind of let me go at an earlier stage later on because I had had so many of them that I knew what to expect. But this is going to be a new challenge for me. I will probably, if they let me, I will do a little bit of video tomorrow, documenting some of the Ocrevus stuff, but I don't know if they will let me do it for privacy sake, so I may not be able to do anything more than the before and after I have left the facility. They did find a facility inside of a hospital in their cancer ward that can handle doing the infusion and also handle the upfront costs that they have to have until the insurance companies pay their share. I am looking forward to seeing some of the positive results that people are telling me that they have had after they start getting the full doses. As it sits right now, I'm going to get half of a dose tomorrow, and then 2 weeks later I'll get half a dose. And I don't know after I get that second half dose if it starts to show some improvement for me or not. I've had people tell me it takes 3 weeks. Some people tell me it takes 3 months or 6 months. And well, in 6 months I'll get my first full dose of the medication. So this is a new world for me, and I am holding my hopes high and trusting that this is the right thing for me to do. The medication I was on before, the Tysabri, made by Biogen, it was a wonderful drug, especially in the beginning. At the end there, my wife started seeing me gradually getting worse and worse every single month. And yeah, the medicine would give me energy back, but at the same time it wasn't giving me as much back. And it's like yesterday, I never made it out of this recliner except for to go to the bathroom. Today I am going to go out. I've got a handful of errands I've got to run. I've got to go pick up one of my prescriptions. I've got to go and take it to the pharmacy, and I have to go to the post office and pick up water from one grocery store and my food from another one, gas up the car for our drive tomorrow. And I have to go and pick up something for my sweet, beautiful, loving wife that I'm giving her just to go and love on her a bit. She deserves it. I don't know if any of my followers or anybody that watches my video has MS or a debilitating disease. Your wife or your husband, if they're your caregiver, you need to go and make sure you're showing them and telling them how much you love and appreciate them, because I tell you what, sometimes it's hard to go and love on us and to care for us. And if it's your husband or it's your wife, you remember back to when you said your vows, and you probably said, in sickness and in health till death do us part. And I know that my wife and I did, and I know that my wife and I meant it. Simply put, with my health, we have seen a number of things that over the years have been complicated, and I wouldn't have known too many people that would have made it through. Multiple sclerosis and some other diseases have such a high divorce rate. And I could understand it, because there have been times that during my MS, because it affects my emotions, it affects my attitude, it affects so many different things. I could be sitting there watching a movie that's a happy movie, and all of a sudden they go to a scene that's just a beautiful field, and all of a sudden I just start boo-hooing and crying. And there's nothing wrong with a man crying, there's nothing wrong with somebody boo-hooing, but for goodness sakes, have a reason. I have a situation where I sometimes, doesn't matter whether it's a good thing, bad thing, could be nothing at all. I'm just sitting there, and all of a sudden I start crying. And the fact that my wife loves me enough to go and move past that and to realize that that's not me, that's the MS, is an awesome thing. I can tell you that she is an incredible woman, because there are things that I whine and I cry about, as I'm sure other people might too, that she's done nothing wrong. She's not ignored me. She is not doing anything that is upsetting to me. I just sometimes break out in tears for no reason. We'll be sitting here watching TV or talking, and all of a sudden she'll go get water in the next room, and all of a sudden when she comes back, I look like I've been out in the rain. My face is covered in tears, and I'm not able to breathe. Well, not only is it embarrassing sometimes, but it's also a real pain in the neck. Because you try to explain that nothing happened, I didn't hurt myself. It was just, I just had an emotional breakout. And, you know, we all have different things with the MS. Some of us have pain. I have pain, but mine's pain is not just the MS pain. My pain is from injuries I've sustained. Some people have walking issues, and obviously I have that, otherwise I wouldn't have a power chair. Not that I always use it, and I should, but I am determined I am not going to go and give up. I'm going to push that last step. You know, sometimes we have other things that, like the emotional thing, but I'll tell you something that I learned yesterday. A young lady that was on the Oscars, for those of you who did not see it, she's a star from movies that I have seen in the past that my wife and I liked, and we had no idea that this young lady had multiple sclerosis, and her issue with multiple sclerosis that's real evident. Obviously, she has walks with a cane and stuff, but she has speech issues where her brain and her mouth, apparently there's something in the wiring there that they don't communicate well enough, that she stutters or has slurs or any combination of things, and Patty and I talked about that, and that's something that sometimes even I have. This disease takes on so many different forms and attacks so many different things. She's also progressive, just like I am, and that's still a new thing for me to learn. I'm learning more and more about the progressive state of multiple sclerosis. But as time goes on, I'm learning more, and I'm learning how to deal with certain things better. Sometimes, not always. I am 2/3 recovered from my fall. My stitches are out and stuff. I have some tissue up underneath the eyelid and on top of my forehead that is raised, and part of that is the healing scar tissue. There may be fragments of the internal stitches in there. I don't know. I know that it's still a little sore, but it doesn't look as bad. The one thing that my wife and I and my grandson so lovingly pointed out is that my eyebrow kind of sewn back crooked. Got a little bit of a raise right here. And I don't don't know, I guess it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's a good thing that I don't make my living in front of a camera that I have to look a certain way. I'm just thankful that they were able to put it all back together. But all in all, I know that the past couple of weeks after the fall, I know the past couple months after being refused by the insurance companies to be allowed to take the medication I used to be on and getting as weak as what I am. I know it's all going to fit together in God's plan because, the Bible says that all things work together for the glory of God. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't know exactly how He's going to use it. But I wake up every morning and I ask on Facebook, and I say on Facebook, Lord, thank you for this day, and thank you for everything you've done for me. The good, the bad, the ugly. The blessings that you've given me and the curses you've allowed. And I know for a lot of people that's hard to understand, but I have seen God use what was horrible and it turned into something wonderful. Also, I go from there and I ask God to go and help me to be a better husband first, a better father to my son who is almost 30 years old, to his wife who he's been married to since he was 18, be a better grandparent or grandfather, or as we call it, Opa, to my 3 grandchildren, and that He will use me in some way, whether I realize He's using me or not. I don't need to know. But if He can use me, no matter what the situation is, whether it's in the chair, whether it's in a hospital bed or a hospital, or in an ambulance, Lord, wherever you want to use me, you can use me. I know that probably, I guess it was 10 years ago, I had taken my disability full-time at that point. And I had given into the fact that I was not going to work another 9 to 5. I wasn't going to drive 800 miles a day again. I wasn't going to do the work that I did before. My brain just was no longer there. And I wasn't safe. But I know that I had cried out to God. I said, God, I'm not able to do the type of ministry that you had me and my wife do for a number of years. And God showed me that He was not taking me out of working with a generation, but that generation had gotten older. and some of them that had given their life to Christ and were trying to live right, were dealing with marital issues. And Patty and I had just gone to a marriage conference that we had been wanting to go to for 20-something years at that point. And while we were there, we were given an opportunity to come on board and serve with them as volunteers. And we've done that for the past 10 years. Last 3 years, we've had to do it from a distance because of either my mom living with us and her being sick and us not being able to leave her, or my health, or Patty's health, or Patty's work schedule. It's sometimes still a complicated thing because God called us to minister to that generation, and marriage is one of those places that generation is dealing with because they were teenagers when Patty and I first started dealing with them, and now they're young adults, and they're facing the struggles and the problems that come with marriage. Because let's face it, we're all a little bit on the selfish side. And it's, for so many of us, it's all about us. But at the same time, not only did he call me to that group there again, but he called me to him in another place. He called me to go into prison. Because there are a handful of them that either didn't listen and pay attention and receive Christ as their Lord and Savior, or they did and they chose to go and make some poor choices. And I can understand that because I've made some poor choices even after I gave my life to Jesus. But I'm able to minister to people in both of those settings, and then sometimes God still allows me to minister to them just out in public, because I may have MS, but I am going to keep moving forward. I'm going to do everything I can, and if that means getting out and going to the store, or going to the post office, which I'm doing both of those today. I'm going to be doing a handful of running this morning and afternoon. And I'm going to do everything I can to go and accomplish goals so that when my wife gets home after 12 hours of work, that she is able to go and rest and relax and not worry about the struggles of what we have to do today. It's neat that God has chosen to allow me to be able to go and do some of the things. There's still a lot of things that I can't do. I can't clean the floors. I cannot handle the vacuum cleaner. I cannot handle a mop. Yet, Jesus has allowed us to have someone come into our life again and come into our home to go and help clean house and to do the things that I'm not able to do, and that Patty's not able to do when she gets home from work, because working a 12 to 14 hour day, it gets tiring, especially when you're running up and down the halls of a hospital.